Hello, my name is Görkem Güngör. Today I will present the IPCC AR6 Economic Drivers and Their Trends by Regions and Sectors, Chapter 2.4. The regional emissions trends, the energy efficiency gains in the last decade was outpaced by a worldwide GDP per capita increase. We had increasing production, which compensated the gains from energy efficiency increase. Also, energy efficiency creates rebound effect. When we have more efficient energy usage, we consume more, and this also reduces the effects of energy efficiency. Significant decarbonization was only noticeable in North America, Europe, and Eurasia, the economies in transition states. And checking the data for Europe from the AR6 database, we can see that there's a structural shift from residential and commercial sector to transportation sector. There has been an increasing activity in transportation sector. Some of this is compensated by energy efficiency and clean energy supply in the transportation sector. But for the industry, we have only a carbon intensity reduction for Europe. So overall, we are more mobile in the last decade, although we have more efficient energy usage in industry and residential and commercial sectors for Europe. Our increasing mobility has compensated these gains. When we look at the world sectoral and regional emission trends, the carbon dioxide emissions continue to rise across all sectors and subsectors, and especially in electricity production, industry, and transport. East Asia is the main source and driver of industrial emissions, where to the world there's an increasing contribution from East Asia, the delta F activity effect, final energy consumption effect. Emissions from buildings mainly increase in East and South Asia. This is mainly for cooling requirements. And we can see an increasing transportation structural shift. There's an increasing mobility globally. And we can see only in North America, Europe, and Eastern Asia that transport emissions are the main contributors. This is mostly also from the global international trade. Looking at the electricity sector, the carbon intensity and emissions decreased in North America. You can see here R10 North America, where there's an activity increase also in North America, but the net effect is negative. The Europe carbon intensity improvements, R10 Europe, are supported by renewable energy supply support systems and market mechanisms, such as the emissions trading scheme. The carbon intensity increase in Pacific OECD here, this is noticeable, where in all the regions, carbon intensity decreased for Pacific OECD, and slightly for Latin America, carbon intensity increased. For China, there is an increase in consumption from coal. However, the peak coal has not been reached yet. In the world, there's also increasing support to coal power plants, local coal power plants in India, Turkey, Indonesia, Vietnam, South Africa, and also other countries. Regarding the latest developments, I selected this article in Nature Sustainability. This is a multi-author article. One Turkish author, Şiir Kılkış, is also one of the authors. She deals with sustainable city indicators. The article researchers ask basically two questions. The first one is how much action by cities and businesses is required to achieve global goals? How can we allocate a fair share of Earth system boundaries to cities and businesses? In the section, the urban trends is one of the subsectors. The urban energy system is crucial because it is a hotspot for energy and climate policies. And also, it is one of the potential solutions find a remedy to energy and climate issues. And this article is important because it connects Working Group 1 and Working Group 3 of the IPCC AR6, provides a synergy between these working groups. In general, there is a working in silos situation between the working groups. The first working group focuses on the science of climate change. The second one focuses on the adaptation, where the adaptation requires immediate solutions because we are already facing climate extreme events. And the third one is mitigation, where we have a somewhat a longer time horizon. And this article is important to connect working group 1 and 3. It would be beneficial to also connect working group 3 to these studies. We have a time horizon here for the principles. When we look at the past, we have the legacy and responsibility, which are the prime issues. When we look at the current situation now, the capability of the actors is important. And when we look at the future, the equality and basic needs, the principles are crucial. For allocating the fair share of Earth system boundaries, there is a dilemma between the bioregional citizen versus the global citizen. For global impact problems, the cities and businesses should better act as global citizens, whereas there are also local issues like biospecies extinctions, endemic species. And for these cases, it is more beneficial to act as a bioregional citizen. And these are the principles. The principles translate from global Earth system boundaries to local actions. On the bottom, we have 10 principles. For translation, we have the principles should be scientifically rigorous, just, transparent, and systemic. In the cross section between the translation of boundaries and the cities and business targets, we have the principles should be sufficiently safe and the principles should be context sensitive. It depends on where and when it is implemented. For the targets, they should be for the cities and businesses enabling. They should be dynamic and bound by time. They should incentivize the respect to achieve the Earth system boundaries, and there should be synergies between the actors and between the targets. For poverty and inequality, the section, I didn't include information from the section, but this is an important issue, especially a long debate in the US. The private consumption, extensive consumption of energy and carbon emissions. This is a famous celebrity example where she takes flight from Los Angeles to Paris to have her favorite cheesecake. There are also some more details here, but the issue is here that there is no respect for the Earth system boundaries. It's for one cheesecake taking all this direct flight from Los Angeles and Paris and returning back the next day. This is basically not respecting the Earth system boundaries. So when we have people who don't respect the Earth system boundaries, why should we give away from our comfort of living? For example, there's an issue of not using one-time plastics. There was a decree by the Biden administration to use paper straws instead of plastic straws, but there was a long-term debate because the product is not efficient. People ask, why do I have to do this when somebody else is not respecting same global Earth system boundaries? So at the end, this decree of Biden administration was canceled by the Trump administration. So what we understand here is that when we solve poverty and inequality, this does not solve the problem. We have the Earth system boundaries in hand, and we need ethical and responsible actors so that we don't exceed these boundaries. And coming in conclusion, there is a decarbonation disparity. There's significant progress in decarbonization, but this is only noticeable in North America, Europe, and Eurasia. There's a dilemma between efficiency and growth. Our efficiency gains are compensated by growth in production and also using the rebound effect, using energy more. And these all undermine our gains from renewable energy policies and also energy efficiency gains. And these are the references. References 1 and 4 are newspapers from the US Sun. Reference number 2 is the Nature Sustainability articles, which takes into consideration the Earth system boundaries. And the third one is the sixth assessment report, where I use it for the composition analysis. And I thank you very much for your attention.